What's good, gamers? Holy One here. So I just got done going on Weapon Wheel Podcast, and people have had mixed reactions to me. But apparently trolls want to pay me to stay off Weapon Wheel Podcast, which I think is hilarious. So this dude commented on my best comment of Weapon Wheel Podcast, and he said, me and so excited. This guy left like 3 super chats saying, kick this guy off the podcast. He says, we will pay you $25 to stay off Weapon Wheel Podcast next week. Question mark. As you can see, he can't even put the $ in the correct spot. So I go to BG's comment section, and I look at the replies, and he replied to this dude saying, this dude is a fraud, may not be a fraud, but he is way loud, interrupts everyone, and the podcast is very annoying. I bet BG's already banned him from the podcast. And that is untrue, because BG said I was good on the podcast. And then if you look at some comments that I left, I said, thanks for having me on the podcast, guys. Feel free to invite me again. They're so excited. He says, nah, Chief, this is the one dude who I guess wants to pay me to stay off the Weapon Wheel Podcast with this other guy. Then you got people saying blah, 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 other stuff. And then this dude says, at this guy, this dude, basically the same thing. And he says, ban him from the podcast. If not, me and so excited is going to keep his ass off the podcast. So this is pretty funny. A lot of people are either saying kick Blandrew off and keep me on the podcast, or the trolls are like, keep him off the podcast, he's too loud or whatever. But I don't think I was disrespectful to anybody on the podcast. I let them talk, and then I would just, I wouldn't talk over them. I'd be like, oh yeah, I did this thing. And if anyone said I was being too loud or anything, they could have just said, hey, Holy One, calm it down a little bit, which I totally could have calmed it down. But I think this is freaking hilarious. And then this dude private messaged me on YouTube saying, here, I'll send you a link for $25. Me and this guy will pay you up front to stay off Weapon Wheel next week. So that was funny. You guys on the Crumb side are funny. Nice troll, but I'm not falling for it. This is your boy Holy One. Out!